Good afternoon, friends. We are meeting on Sunday. I know that it's a rest day, but since morning I'm there with the COVID OPD, and there were 26 patients in the OPD, and that's why just now I returned from the OPD and I'm here to discuss with you regarding the biocombinations and biochemics. We'll go ahead today, but before that there was one query asked in the group regarding one case. There was a patient of a diabetes. Doctor, for 50 milligram was the sugar levels, having uterine fibroids, sinusitis, SGOT, SGPT increased, and question was asked that I am thinking of giving Calcarea Fluor along with biocombination 7 with Zigem Jam. So what should I do? Whether to go with that or anything else? Any suggestion regarding this thing? Basically, if diabetes is having so much of increased sugar, first important thing, why liver is compromised? Why there is a problem? Why this SGOT, SGPT is increased along with uterine fibroids, along with the diabetes mellitus? It itself suggests that the miasmatic focus is psychosyphilitic basically. So you have to understand basic disease in that patient, what exactly the disease is, and you have to think accordingly any remedy which covers that whole aspect. Yes, you can think of a biocombination 7, biocombination even Calcarea Fluor, it's okay, but why that much of sugar levels are there? Whether there is any pancreatitis associated, whether there is any pathology, infective focus, or sometimes it happens that malignancies also. So what may be the reason? So accordingly your remedy changes. You have to understand that. If you understand those things, then it's too easy to find it out a remedy for the patient. So if I will get the case detail, then I can explain you exactly which biochemical or biocombination you can think of. But with this much of data, no, I cannot suggest specifically as the Calcarea Fluor or biocombination 7. I cannot suggest. You can go with biocombination 7, but still I will suggest that you write down whole case and then we can discuss, so that pathophysiology can be understood and we can apply the remedies accordingly. So this was one question, and there was one more question in the group that, sir, what are the remedies for the pustular acne? Pustular acne, yes, these are the acne having a specifically generally a staphylococcal infection over there, and if it is there, most common remedy you can think of a Calcarea sulf over there. Calcarea sulf generally I consider than Cilicia, because in Calcarea sulf, if you will go with the concept of a Calcarea sulf which has been explained by Dr. Rajan Shankaran over there, with one rubric, lamenting that she is not appreciated. This is very important rubric where you can find it out, the state of a Calcarea sulf. And Calcarea, this is the common state which can develop because of the pustular acne. The face becomes disturbed and females, they get disturbed and they start comparing with the others, and there is always a complaint that, doctor, how it looks, very bad it looks, and they always go on complaining. Lamenting is nothing but शोक करणं, एखाद्या गोष्टीवर रडत बसणं, that is very typical of lamenting. So Calcarea sulf, if you consider with that aspect, it is there, and along with that, very typically the features that pustular affections which we have discussed with the pathophysiology. If it is not the RBCs which are dried out, which are worn out, and the water content which is not getting absorbed, it finds its way, or it finds out vent on a body in the form of eruptions, and that's why it expresses in the form of a pustular acne also. That is one of the reason with which you can approach. So calcareous sulf, sometimes you might require kali sulf and sometimes you might require silicium. It varies depending upon the patient to patient. But first remedy is always a calcareous sulf, second is the kali sulf, and third is the silica. These are three important remedies in pustular acne that you can think of. So this is what regarding the questions. One more thing I will going to discuss today, that on either on Wednesday or Friday we'll have a session with Dr. Praveen Tambe. He is doing very good work at Igatpuri and that area, slum area, where he is working for the corona patients, and he is keeping all those records. And Dr. Kalshetty, he has suggested me, and even I myself thought that it will be a good experience for all the homeopaths as well as the students, that to share his experience. So whatever the queries regarding those which are there in your mind, put it in the group or on my personal number, so that will be a type of discussion, and it will be a live session on Zoom. So I can ask the questions whatever there in your mind, and that will be a very nice session in the homeopathy, with Dr. Praveen Tambe. So I expect the queries from all of you in the group, or my number, cell number, everyone is having 98901 68872. So you can put your queries regarding those, and that will be discussed on those days. Either it will be on Wednesday or Friday as time permits. So that is second thing which I want to share with you. And now we'll turn towards the today's session. We are discussing the biocombinations since long time, and we have discussed the first 15, out of which in last lecture we have discussed 3 important biocombinations, the number 13, number 14 and 15. And number 13, it is the common leucorrhea combination. That combination, how to approach with the leucorrhea cases, whether it is physiological, pathological, and the different causes behind them, and accordingly which remedies we can think of. That also we have discussed in yesterday's lecture. Those who were not present for the yesterday's lecture, they should refer the YouTube channel and go through the videos, so that you can again have that on the YouTube. Second important thing, the contents which are there in the leucorrhea combination. Yes, obviously there is the natramur, the kali sulf, the kali phos. Most common is the calcarea phos, and last one is the kali miraticum. And how these are there, that also we have discussed in yesterday's lecture. Then number 14 we have discussed, it's a measles combination, and it is not only measles, we can use it for any fever which is associated with the discharges, associated with the eruptions, a scarlet variety, fever, pyrexia with eruptions. Think about this remedy, because it contains basic elements, the ferrum phosphoricum, kali miraticum, the first 2 remedies in the first 2 stages of inflammation, and third one is the kali sulfuricum. So these 3 are very useful in such types of cases. That also we have discussed. And the last remedy for the menstrual complaints we have discussed, and I have suggested that I used to think this 15 number combination only for the purpose of menorrhagia, metrorrhagia, or polymenorrhea, or sometimes it is a profuse menses only. But for menstrual irregularities or delayed menses, I never used to consider this remedy. Yes, the combination which contains the calcarea phos, there are 4 phos in fact, the calcarea phos, the ferrum phos, kali phos, natrum phos, and only one remedy which is different from the natrum sulfuricum. So this is what we have learned in yesterday's lecture. Today we'll go ahead with the next biocombination, that is biocombination number 16. Biocombination number 16 is labeled as a nervous exhaustion. Nervous exhaustion, this is what do we do? Generally, we consider this nervous word in a different manner in day-to-day practice. In Marathi, nervous is different, depressed, and when you consider nervous, it is different from homeopathic point of view or from medical point of view. Generally, whenever the word nervous is used, nervous is always related with the on the tip of nerves, the neuralgia, the nerves affections, the excitability in the nerves, the irritability in the nerves, the irritation in the nerves, and because of which there is exhaustion, then it is a nervous exhaustion. It is not depressed exhaustion which is considered. So there is a lot of difference in understanding. Whenever word comes in when you are reading the materia medica, or when you are reading the organon or repertory, nervous word comes. It is related with the nerves. It is on the tip of the nerves, on the irritation, inflammation, excitation of the nerves, and that part is the nervous word. So nervous exhaustion is related with that, and that's why accordingly whenever the things relates to the nerves, you should think about the remedies which are nerves, which are acts on the nerve. So definitely, if you find it out, the biocombination number 16, you will find there are 4 FOS. So which are the FOS which are there? So there is a calcarea FOS, there is a Kali FOS, there is a Ferrum FOS, and there is a Mac FOS. All remedies having very specific action on the nerves. What is missing is Natrum FOS, because it is related basically with the GI tract, right from the mouth to the rectum, and that's why it is not included over there. But these 4 FOS are there. And nervous excitability happens or exhaustion happens because of certain reasons. There might be any irritation, any stress factor is responsible to produce a nervous exhaustion. So sometimes if it is commonly because of the stress or continuous mental stress on the inside the mind, at that time this reflects in the body activity, expresses in the form of exhaustion, and they don't have a capacity to go ahead. And that's why they require Kali phosphoricum at that time or calcarea phosphoricum at that time, because it relates to the muscles as well as mind, and it is related with the nerves also. So basically when you go with them with the nervous exhaustion, first think about these remedies very commonly. The calcarea FOS, the Kali FOS, these are very, very important. If there is a pain, if there is a spasm, if there are cramps, that means that it is related with the muscles, associated with the neuropathy and associated with the neuralgia, then Mac FOS should be considered. So Mac FOS comes whenever there is a spasm or whenever there is a irritation in the nerves and a spasm in the nerve, then Mac FOS plays very vital role. Then 4th FOS which is there is the we have discussed Ferrum FOS, that is inflammatory, calcarea FOS, musculopathy, then the Kali FOS which is related with the psychological aspect, and last is Mac FOS. But what remains over there in the 6th is the 16th is the Natrium muriaticum. Generally, when a person has some problems at the psychological level, he disturbed, the depressed, and that depression is reflecting in his body language. It might be a disappointment, it might be a some grief, long-standing grief, which is long-lasting grief is there. It might be a grief because of someone, because of deception, and if it is happening along with such a type of exhaustion, a person becomes dull, dizzy, never have interest in anything. He goes into the brooding state, absolutely disturbed, then that natrum mur plays a role. But at that time, this becomes very easily related with the homeopathic angle, and that's why if it is homeopathically similar to the patient state, you give better natrum mur in potency, and then you can give rest of the salts. So this is the combination which you can use depending upon the present of a nervous exhaustion. I used to use this nervous exhaustion combination whenever patient is reflecting it in the form of such thing. Diabetic neuropathy, you can think of this combination, you can use in fact in a proper manner, and patient can recover, because there is number of times there is a severe cramps in the lower extremities, or patient might have fasciculations in the lower extremities. He might be suffering from the muscle spasms in diabetes, and those are always getting very clearly treated with this combination. There are two combinations which you can use, either this 16 or another remedy which you can think of is 24. In 24 you have all all 5 salts, 5 phos salts. So the either of one which you can use in such types of cases, and this helps because of which the process becomes fast and very fast, and it reflects. So diabetic neuropathy, definitely think of that. Then one more thing, sometimes it is senile neuropathy. According to the old age, sometimes neuropathy develops. It might be because of degenerative changes which happens in the body. It might be because of the spinal problem. This type of neuropathy develops and exhaustion develops. In such types of cases, this 16 plays a very good role. But if it is degenerative pathology producing a lumbar spondylosis over there, or it is because of the prolapse intervertebral disc causing a trouble over there, then you must have a calcarea fluorinate, and that is not there in this combination, and that's why you have to think either of a 26 or either of a 17, etc. So accordingly you have to think for such nervous exhaustion. So neuropathy, wherever it is there, exhaustion because of nervous system affection, think about this 16 number combination. So it has 4 phos along with natrum mur, and you can utilize this according to the situation. Then second important is the 17 number. 17 is useful for number of purposes, and that's why according to the name it is for the hemorrhoids. But generally I used to use in hemorrhoids, but not only in hemorrhoids, but as it contains the calcarea fluor, so I used to think it in degenerative pathologies very commonly. I think we have discussed that while discussing the calcarea fluor, or while discussing somewhere we have discussed this combination. But still today we will discuss again regarding it. When you think about this combination, you must find it out what are the contents. And everyone, if you that one more hint I want to discuss with all of you, that if you are using any bio combination, first find it out from which company you are using, and don't go on changing every time that company's combination, because there are little bit differences when they prepare the bio combinations. So even though names are same, the little bit changes are there, and follow that whatever is written over there, which are the salts which are used in order to prepare that bio combination. You can find it out few differences. Sometimes one of the salt might be missing. Sometimes one of the salt might have 6 instead of 6x, it has been given in 3x over there. So you have to find it out and accordingly think about all those combinations. In this combination you will have basically the calcarea fluor, the kali mur, ferrum phos, and a kali phos. See, hemorrhoids, calcarea fluor should be there, because we have discussed why how Calcarea fluor has specific action on the hemorrhoids or in developing the hemorrhoids. It has a typical action of blood vessel and specifically the walls of the blood vessel, and as it gets relaxed, if the molecular motion at the level of this muscular coating of the vessel, if it gets lost, it becomes flaccid, and that's why the vessel gets dilated, and dilated veins, enlarged veins, congested veins is the characteristic of this Calcarea fluor, and which is the one of the important ingredients in this hemorrhoid. But when you treat hemorrhoids, very commonly you get the cases of hemorrhoids in your practice. First important thing, clinical examination is very necessary. You have to find it out what type of hemorrhoids are there, whether they are internal piles or external piles. The three diagnoses at the anal region, which one has to differentiate, whether it is hemorrhoids, whether it is a fissure in ano, or whether it is a fistula in ano. Because if you diagnose it clearly, then this combination or any remedy which you are selecting, which will be useful and which you can think properly. Now because patient doesn't know all those three diagnoses. Patient doesn't understand exactly what he has a pain in the anus or bleeding from the anus, or sometimes he might have very severe pain around the anus. It might be a perineal abscess. Patient doesn't know. Common symptom is that they are suffering from the hemorrhoids. A common word is piles, or sometimes in Marathi, mulvad zala. That is the very common word which they used to use. They don't understand exactly the difference between the hemorrhoids, then the perineal abscess, fistula in ano, or fissure in ano. My suggestion for all the practitioners and students is that unless and until you examine and find it out what exactly the diagnosis is, you should not treat that specific entity. Because if a patient is having fistula and you are giving remedies to treat the hemorrhoids, it becomes wrong. You cannot think properly, and for that purpose, it is too necessary to understand these things. So your first important thing, differentiate between these three important diagnoses: hemorrhoids, the fistula in ano, and fissure in ano. If you are damn sure about the hemorrhoids, then find it out exactly whether they are internal hemorrhoids or external hemorrhoids, because that is second important point which you have to take into consideration. The third important thing, now it comes that what is exactly location, sensation, modality and concomitants. All those things matters a lot in order to select an exact remedy. So you have to find it out what exactly remedy is there depending on all those things. But when you think about the biochemics, it depends upon pathophysiology. So most common remedy in the hemorrhoids, already we have discussed, is the Calcarea fluor. Then two more remedies. There is definitely a process which is inflammatory. So first stage of inflammation and second stage of inflammation both are covered with the ferrum phos and kali muraticum, and that's why they are added in the combination. So hemorrhoids with inflammatory process over there, very severe pain with a discharge, sometimes it is bloody discharge. The most important remedy which you have to consider is nothing but the ferrum phos and kali mur. The third important remedy which one must think and one should be there is the kali phosphoricum. Just a minute. Kali phosphoricum. Kali phos is important because of the stress or pain it develops. Generally, it is very severe character. Neuralgic pains also develops if it is inflamed a lot. And second important thing, person becomes disturbed because it affects his sitting position. Whenever the person sits, he gets disturbed, and it produces one of the accord feeling in the patient, restless feeling in the patient because the patient not able to sit. So you have to understand that Kali phos plays very vital role. It has both the action. The neuropathic action is also there, neuralgic pains also covered. At the same time, it tranquilizes, it relaxes the patient. So whenever you are treating hemorrhoids, the biocombination 17 is important. But biocombination, along with biocombination number 17, management part plays a very vital role. You have to ask regarding the patient's diet, and what you will find that in such types of patient used to have generally a bajri in their diet, and they suffers a lot. It is very troublesome for the patient. It produces a very easy constipation, a pressure over there, and the hemorrhoids develop. You have to find it out what may be the cause. If a patient is continuously doing a sitting work, can suffer from that. Sedentary workers, they generally suffers from the hemorrhoids. So you accordingly you have to tell the patient what exactly the problem is and how they can come out of that situation. It is nothing but hemorrhoids are nothing but the enlarged blood vessels associated along with the skin over there, and that's why they enlarges. It is a pressure inside the blood vessels which increases, or congestion is there. Most common reason finds it out at the portal congestion. So portal congestion associated with hemorrhoids, natrum sulph plays very vital role. Even though it is not in their in the combination, you must think about the natrum sulph over there, because portal congestion plays very vital role. So natrum sulph as a biochemic remedy, you can think in such types of cases. Then another important thing, diet plays very vital role. Diet, you have to explain the patient what type of diet. If the patient is in agony, you have to tell them that they should have a soft diet, and you have to explain it in their language. It is in the Marathi. If patient is Marathi, you explain it in Marathi. If patient is talking Hindi, you can tell him in Hindi or English accordingly. It is not just giving or telling the patient, "Tumhi soft diet घेत जा." Patient doesn't understand what is soft. बाजरीचं पीठ सॉफ्टच असतं, and if he is consuming the bajri, it is harmful, it is very troublesome. So you have to exactly tell what the patient should take, and that's why the study of this naturopathy is always essential when you have to discuss regarding all those things. So my suggestion is that you read the books which are related with the diet, because you can suggest a patient what exactly he should take. A soft diet म्हणजे एखादी गोष्ट, whatever the food is there, it should be it should be made very fine and patient consume in that, but he should not eat bajri, he should not eat a spicy food, he should not eat chilies over there, because these are the things which irritates or inflames the blood vessels over there, and they increases the pain. Patient jwari is very good because it is most soft in the diet, and they can take jwari for the food. So that will be very essential part. Even rice is very good in such types of cases. And whatever food is there, आपण मराठीत त्याला चुरून खाणं म्हणतो. That is very important, because that makes those small mouthfuls are sufficient, and they never causes a trouble to the patient. There are number of things which patient can avoid. Basically these Chinese food items, they causes a trouble. People, they are not doing regular exercises over there, so again they suffers from the same type of disorder. So you have to understand, you have to tell them exactly that what they should take and what is the role of exercises over there. I used to tell the patient that they are doing the sitting work continuously. After half an hour they should at least stand, at least walk few steps and again join the work. So that will be a pressure on the rectum and anus that will be settled, and patient can be if a patient is suffering from severe pain, that can be settled very easily. Second important thing, I used to advise them that they should go for Surya Namaskar along with a regular walk. But if patient is having aggravation from the walking, for time being he should avoid that. But Surya Namaskar is the basic exercise which you can tell the patient, and which is useful in such types of cases. Third important is, I used to tell about the diet, and I asked them to consume plenty of water at that time, so that the pain get easily settled. So all those things matters a lot when you treat hemorrhoids. And stress factor also plays very important role, because stress itself is one of the reason behind the hemorrhoids. Generally stress is the reason behind every disorder, and that's why in homeopathy we used to take or we used to understand the patient's mind, stress, anxiety, all those things. So ultimately you have to tell and explain to the patients regarding all those things, how to avoid stress and strain also. One more suggestion for all the students is that they should give time to treat the patients. There are number of questions remains in their mind, and generally other practitioners never gives time. They only tell you must take a soft diet, you should not take spicy food, that's all, and they give prescribed medicines. And in such types of cases, if the patient comes to you and if you give time, explain to them exactly, then that patient will immediately get settled, because he understands what to do at that time. So suggestion is always to give time to their answers and explain everything to them. So this is very important regarding the piles combination, that is number 17. So you must understand that it contains of it Calcarea fluor, Ferrum phos, Kali muriaticum, and last is the Kali phosphoricum. But this combination I used to use in degenerative disorders. Most commonly I use whenever there is inflammatory degenerative state associated with pain and associated with mental restlessness or strain, exhaustion. I used to think, so in cases of cervical spondylosis, lumbar spondylosis, osteoarthritis, wherever you get all those degenerative changes along with frustrating condition is there, I used to think about this combination. Only difference is that in 26 you have a Calcarea phos along with the Calcarea fluor. Here Calcarea phos is missing. But wherever the regeneration and degeneration is required, I used to think about the 26. But when it is inflammatory and I find it out that there is a degeneration and a frustration, I used to think about the 17. So this is the way I used to use regarding the 17 number combination. So we have discussed two combinations up till now. That first one, the 16, nervous exhaustion. So 4 phos along with the Nectar muriaticum over there, and the 17 number combination. Now we'll turn towards the 18 one, and this is one important thing which we have to consider in today's session. 18 number, it looks very simple. Pyorrhea. 18 is pyorrhea. But what happens? We overlook this pyorrhea. What is exactly pyorrhea is nothing but it is infection at the gums level, at the periodontal level. Generally it is a periodontal inflammation and infection which is there in pyorrhea. And this topic generally we overlook as a homeopath. And these patients, first time they go to the dentist for their problems. This condition you have to understand very clearly. Why there is a periodontal swelling or inflammation, why the gums gets inflamed, why they gets retracted, what are the possibilities, what are possible causes behind them, all the things which you have to consider when you are treating this periodontal inflammation or periodontal swelling. Most common reason is that bad dental hygiene, and bad dental hygiene generally produces a inflammation over there in the gums, and gradually whenever there is inflammation, infection remains over there for a persistent time, the gum starts swelling, and whenever gum starts swelling, sometimes it starts retracting, and that periodontal infection produces a corroding over there, and corrosion are leading to sometimes even caries also. A lot of offensive discharge come from the mouth, offensive breath is there, and patient himself feels that they are suffering from something, so there is some problem over there. So you have to understand what exactly the cause behind that is, whether it is because of some such bad hygiene. You can advise that to the patient how to maintain that. So first important reason behind the periodontal affections and pyorrhea is the bad dental hygiene. Second important common cause, yes, everyone is explaining over there, is the tobacco and tobacco mystery. These are two important things, most common. Third is the smoking. But tobacco products itself are responsible to produce a pyorrhea or pyorrhea-like condition. In Maharashtra, this mystery is very common. People from the villages, they are doing it 3 times, 4 times, and they feel that it is good thing. They are using this tobacco mystery in order to get stimulated. So mental stimulation, तलफ, मराठीत त्याला तलफ लागली. तलफ म्हणजे काय, तर मेंटल स्टिम्युलेशन आहे, ते असल्याशिवाय त्यांना फ्रेशच वाटत नाही. दॅट इज द व्हेरी कॉमन थिंग विच हॅपन्स. सो mystery habit, tobacco, they are most common reasons behind this bad breath, pyorrhea, discharge from the gums. You observe their gums, you can find it out that it is retracted, swollen and very offensive, but they never feels that breath, only because they are having a breath in their mind about the tobacco. So if you find it out, the causes, these are the maintaining causes in your diseases. Instead of prescribing a remedy to the patient at that time, most common reason, most common entity is that you remove the maintaining causes from the patient. It is your duty basically, that this is what you have to tell the patient. You have to explain to the patient, this is causing trouble, and if it persists, it can lead to cancer. If you give a little bit frightening aspect about the disease, then they can stop. You tell them that it can lead to cancer, or the changes are already seen over there. If you don't stop, it will affect. It can lead to cancer, and then they can stop. So that is very important thing which is essential in your practice. So avoiding all those things and telling to the patient that these things should be avoided 100%. We have to counsel a patient regarding that. Third important thing which is there, sometimes if it persists, it can lead to even heart affections or cardiac pathologies also. And that thing also you share with the patient, that it is an entity, if it persists, can lead towards the heart affections, heart attack also. So if you tell like that, then they can stop all those things very easily. So in this pyorrhea, you have to understand what exactly the cause behind this pyorrhea is there, and accordingly you have to approach. Second important thing, you must know what are the different types of pyorrhea. If you go with the reading these pyorrhea subjects in the books, or even on the net, or even on in the dental books, there are 3 basic types of pyorrheas. First, it's called as an aggressive pyorrhea. Aggressive pyorrhea, the infection happens to be there with a very severe pain, and it suddenly starts disturbing the gingiva over there. Marked gingivitis is there, and lot of worse offensive breath comes through the mouth. So aggressive variety is there, and it develops so fast that it never takes a time. Within span of 5 or 6 days it happens. Generally, those who are suffering from the diabetes mellitus, in them such type of aggressive pyorrhea is quite common, and that's why you have to, if you understand, or you have to examine patient, ask them to do for a blood sugar if they don't know they are having diabetes, and give them or accordingly tell them regarding those things. If the patient is suffering from diabetes, it is your duty to tackle the diabetes very early in such types of cases. So aggressive variety, to manage aggressive variety is very, very important thing. Second important type is the chronic pyorrhea. And chronic pyorrhea or chronic periodontitis is gradually developing periodontitis, and it happens to be there because of such habits very commonly. So tobacco habit, misery habit, so smoking habit, bad dental hygiene, these are the commonest causes with which the chronic periodontitis or this periodontal affections or pyorrhea can develop. And third important variety which is there is necrotizing pyorrhea or necrotizing periodontitis. This is third important variety of a pyorrhea, and if it is necrotizing, you have to think of a remedy which covers that necrotizing aspect. It is very, again, goes with aggressiveness ahead and affecting the necrosis of the gingiva, necrosis of the enamel of the tooth, and producing caries of the teeth. So in such condition, calcarea fluor should be think of, even though it is not there in the combination. In the combination number 18, whenever we used to find it out pyorrhea, all remedies which produces pus are there. So you can get over there very commonly the calcarea sulf, the silicea, and one common remedy which is there in the dental in the teeth as well as the gingiva is the calcarea phos. So these are the three important contents are there in the pyorrhea combination: calcarea phos along with the calcarea sulf and the silicium. Calcarea phos is very important remedy at the whenever we think about this dental aspect or dental hygiene, to stimulate to make the teeth strong and gingiva strong. Calcarea phos is very important remedy. But along with that, if it is calcarea sulf finds it out, went out, it throws away the discharge, the pus from the mouth, from the gingiva, and that's why the calcarea sulf is there. Silicea, everyone knows that silicea itself is a remedy for the pustular types of discharges which happens more deeply at the deeper plane. Silicea plays the role. So these three are there in pyorrhea combination. Now you think about all those three combination. If patient is having severe necrotizing pyorrhea or aggressive pyorrhea, along with this combination, one must think about the calcarea fluor, so that you can handle that necrotizing variety very easily with the help of the remedy, calcarea fluor also. But when you handle such types of cases, you have to tell the patient certain things. So what are the advices which you will going to advise? Yes, what happens, you generally dentist as well as number of people tells them, yes, you maintain the dental hygiene. Whether a patient knows the dental hygiene, if he knows the dental hygiene, he would have not come to you for the treatment. This is too important. You have to understand that they are not knowing the dental hygiene, that's why they are there with you with the trouble. So what is exactly dental hygiene? And number of number of people never knows how to brush also. Generally, they used to follow routine things in their life. Some people never use the brush. They use only with the fingers, the powders over there. So you have to tell them exactly what is meant by the dental hygiene. You tell them that which are the things which causes the trouble, so avoid the tobacco, misery and all those things. Second important, brushing, and tell them exactly how to brush. Second important part, that what should be used for the brushing. Question arises, a toothpaste. Yes, there are number of toothpaste in homeopathy also. Whether to use or whether not to use. I will suggest that tell them at least to yes, use this toothpaste. Why not to make a famous homeopathy famous, propagate in the patient's mind? This is too important to tell them, yes, this is thing, you apply it, because it contains certain ingredients which are essential and which can maintain the dental hygiene. Yes, ask them to use the dental paste, brushing twice with the homeopathic dental paste. Because of that, they start using the homeopathic. So tell them you can use this dental paste, and twice a day brushing is very necessary. Basically in the morning, early in the morning, and after food you must do that. There is one more thing, the word which the dentist used to use, the flossing karat. People never knows what exactly the flossing is. फ्लॉसिंग म्हणजे काय तर एक धागा जो असतो तो न तुटणारा सहसा स्ट्रॉंग धागा असतो. त्या धाग्याने प्रत्येक दातांच्या फटीमध्ये तो घालून त्यातली घाण काढायची. दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज अ फ्लॉसिंग. परंतु पीपल नेवर नोज व्हॉट एक्झॅक्टली फ्लॉसिंग करत जा. इवन आय वॉज नॉट नोईंग व्हॉट एक्झॅक्टली फ्लॉसिंग वेन आय फर्स्ट विजिटेड द डेंटिस्ट. This is quite common. You have to reach to the people's mind exactly what you have to tell. So flossing is nothing but using the thread. With the thread that you can remove the material which is obstructed in between the teeth and make them clean. That is very important for dental hygiene. So first is brushing, second is the dental flossing, and third important thing, sometimes it has been explained with the dentist that they use the mouth fresheners. I will not suggest mouth fresheners from homeopathic angle, or if you want to give them to wash, or if you find it out tremendous pus over there in the gums, most important thing, ask them to do gargles with the calendula mother tincture. In a half cup of water, you put 10 drops of calendula and ask them to use very vigorously and throw it away. That removes the dental infection, or basically the gum infection, very easily. So gargling with the calendula mother tincture is very good in order to remove the pus collected over there, and it becomes very easy that they can get very good results with the help of that. And last thing, the common thing with which it happens, which we forgot generally, that vitamin C deficiency. It is one of the common reason behind the gingivitis. We know that scurvy, and one of the part of the scurvy is the gingivitis, inflammation of gingiva. So I used to ask them to take vitamin C either in the tablet form, or better to advise them which are the things in which vitamin C is much more. Vitamin C is quite common with the lemon. So if a patient consumes the lemon water daily, that will be a better solution. All sour fruits contains the vitamin C. So very important is ask them to take those fruits if it is possible, and if it is not possible for them, simple giving vitamin C, chewable vitamin C is a very good solution, because it gets in therapeutic doses. You can get a vitamin C in therapeutic doses, and that is a good dose which can settle it very easily. So you cannot advise to each and every patient to consume citrus fruits, because because of the poor socio-economic conditions, or the things if they are remaining in the a family of 10 people, 12 people, joint family, and they cannot ask for fruits over there. For a single person, it is not advised to tell over there that one of the person from the family, big family is there, and they cannot go for that. It's better to ask them in the form of a tablet, and that is better solution for that. So this is one more thing which you have to tell them to the patients while using this, treating this pyorrhea condition. So ultimately, when you are dealing with the patients, again and again, I am telling you same thing, that when you are treating the patients, homeopathic management, the auxiliary measures plays very, very vital role. If you advise them properly, these patients will never go anywhere. They comes to you for every advice. So in your practice, advice to the patient regarding his disease, regarding his conditions, is very, very, very essential. And that's what I want to explain about the pyorrhea. So we have finished three more biocombination in today's session. The 16 number, that is the nervous exhaustion, which contains 4-phos along with the Natrum miraticum. Then we have discussed regarding the 17, where there is a first and second stage of inflammation. The Parum-phos, Kali-Mur remedies are there. The Calcarea fluor degenerative remedy, which acts specifically on blood vessels and muscular coat of blood vessels, dilated blood vessels, which can be also useful in cases of varicosities. This remedy plays vital role along with the Kali-phos. And third remedy which we have discussed is the pyorrhea, and we have discussed the therapeutics of a pyorrhea, it is just understanding, clinical understanding of a pyorrhea, so that it is very easily you can treat the pyorrhea with the help of this combination, along with the individual remedies which are there in the pyorrhea. So there are three important entities are there: the Calcarea phos, the Calcarea sulf, and Silicea. And I suggest that Calcarea fluor is also one of the important remedy which one should think. So we have discussed all pros and cons along with the auxiliary measures in how to manage homeopathically all those cases. Tomorrow we'll continue at the same time, 2:30 p.m. with the next two combinations, and tomorrow's sessions will be a very important session, because it is a 19 number combination is related with the rheumatism. I think only two combinations will be sufficient to discuss, because rheumatism is a very common subject and interesting subject of mine, and my work on rheumatism is much more. So definitely tomorrow's session you will definitely get lot of things, lot of aspects of homeopathy in tomorrow's session. Be there sharp at 2:30 and tell all your friends and students as well as colleagues to attend tomorrow's session, and subscribe our YouTube channel, The Divine School of Homeopathy. Thanks for attending. There were a number of practitioners who were there. Dr. Shivsagar sir were there. Then Dr. Rakesh Shukla was there. Number of practitioners, Dr. Rupali Pagar, and our regular company, it is definitely they are attending every session. So because of you, I get the energy to come and meet you again every day. Thank you very much watching this session. Thanks a lot. We'll meet tomorrow.